A group of scientists, investors, and reporters have been gathered to witness a miracle. In the center of a workshop stands a strange contraption, part engine, part musical instrument. A man blows into a nozzle, pours in 5 gallons of water, and with a flourish, points to a pressure gauge, 10,000 psi. He declares that he just split water into a powerful vapor, enough to drive a ship across the Atlantic and back, 5 times over. The newspapers go wild. Investors scramble to get in on the ground floor. If you're ready to uncover more secrets behind the world's most fascinating cons, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. That way you'll never miss the next twist in the world of cons, and you'll always stay one step ahead of the game. Philadelphia, 1870s. The city is crackling with invention, steam engines, telegraphs, the promise of a new industrial age. But in a cluttered workshop on North 20th Street, a man named John Keely is about to unveil something that will make all other inventions look like child's play. Keely is no ordinary tinkerer. Orphaned young, he's been everything. A carpenter, a carnival barker, even a musician. But now, he claims to have discovered a force greater than steam, greater than electricity, the mysterious etheric force. He calls it the power of vibratory sympathy, a hidden energy in water and air that, if harnessed, could change the world. John Keely was born in 1837 in Philadelphia, a city at the heart of America's Industrial Revolution. Raised in a working-class family, Keely was fascinated by machines and music, tinkering with gadgets and instruments at a very young age. The era was one of wild invention and wild speculation. Everyone wanted to be the next Edison or Bell, but Keely lacked the formal education and the connections to compete with the city's elite inventors. Driven by envy and the desire for recognition, he began to blur the lines between science and showmanship, crafting elaborate demonstrations that promised to unlock the secrets of the universe. Keely's world was one where faith in progress was absolute, and where a clever illusionist could become a prophet. He learned early in America, if you can sell hope, you can sell anything. And in the Gilded Age, hope was the hottest commodity of all. The Keely Motor Company is born, flush with $5 million in capital, a fortune in those days. Keely spins ever more elaborate tales. His engines run on vibro-molecular and sympathetic vibro-etheric forces, terms that sounded impressive but meant little to even the sharpest minds of the day. To most, it was dazzling nonsense, but it sounded just plausible enough to keep hope alive. He demonstrates new machines, a compound disintegrator, a musical ball, a pneumatic rocket gun, each powered by this mysterious energy. He promises a revolution, trains without coal, ships without steam, limitless power from a few drops of water. But there's a catch. Keely refuses to reveal the secret. He dodges questions, delays explanations, and insists the invention isn't quite ready for the market. When investors demand results, he dazzles them with more demonstrations, more scientific-sounding mumbo-jumbo, and always more promises. The money pours in. Even John Jacob Astor invests, Keely's biggest supporter. A wealthy theosophist named Clara Bloomfield Moore becomes his patron saint, defending him from skeptics and pouring more funds into his experiments. But cracks appear. Some demonstrations fail. Reporters whisper about hidden tubes and compressed air. A skeptical journalist asks for a simple test. Run the engine for half an hour, nothing more. Keely obliges, but the machine sputters out in minutes. Lawsuits pile up, shareholders threaten jail. Still, Keely keeps the faith alive with new jargon, new prototypes, and always the promise that the breakthrough is just around the corner. Keely dies in 1898, taking his secrets to the grave. But the real secret is revealed when investigators finally tear apart his workshop. What do they find? Hidden pipes, secret tanks, and a web of tubes running through the walls. Evidence that Keely's etheric force was nothing more than compressed air and clever stagecraft. The investors are left with nothing but worthless stock. And a cautionary tale. Keely's name became synonymous with pseudoscience and fraud. But his story endures. A warning about the seductive power of jargon, the hunger for miracles, and the danger of believing in something just because you want it to be true. That's the legend of John E.W. Keely, the man who promised the impossible, dazzled the world, and proved that sometimes the greatest force in the universe is human gullibility. With Keely's workshop exposed and his etheric force revealed as smoke and mirrors, the world is left to pick up the pieces. But how did he keep the illusion alive for so long? Let's analyze the mix of science, showmanship, and wishful thinking that powered the Keely Motor Company. John Keely's decades-long deception began with a fearless acceptance of human nature's vulnerabilities. As Blair Warren notes, the degree to which we will be able to influence others will be in direct proportion to the amount of truth we can accept about human nature. Keely recognized that people, especially investors and the curious public, are drawn to hope, novelty, and the promise of revolutionary breakthroughs. He didn't judge these impulses. He expertly exploited them, understanding that the hunger for progress and the dream for easy riches could override skepticism. Keely never directly claimed to have built the Perpetual motion machine. Instead, he masked his intent behind a veil of scientific jargon, cryptic demonstrations, and vague references to the etheric force and vibratory sympathy. People have ulterior motives because oftentimes that's the only way we can be persuaded to do anything. It is ultimately the masking of intent that makes them viable tools for change. By never making a direct, falsifiable claim, Keely allowed others to fill in the gaps, letting them conclude for themselves that he had discovered something world-changing. This indirect approach bypassed skepticism and made the illusion more durable as people became invested in their own conclusions. Keely's demonstrations were theatrical and filled with incongruity. Machines that seemed to run on mysterious, invisible forces, scientific explanations that defied conventional wisdom, and results no one else could replicate. Things that are out of place, that don't make sense in a given context, or that confuse us will invariably grab our attention, and if exploited properly, will maintain it as well. His confidence and showmanship inspire awe and curiosity, while the spectacle of his inventions captured and held the attention of investors, scientists, and journalists. Social proof amplified its effect. When prominent figures and wealthy individuals invested, others followed suit, trusting the crowd over their own doubts. Keely's scheme thrived because it satisfied several hidden addictions and deep psychological needs. The first was hope. For investors and the public, Keely's motor represented hope, a solution to the world's energy problems, and a ticket to immense wealth. The next was secret knowledge. Keely's cryptic explanations and proprietary science made followers feel that they were privy to a secret that the rest of the world didn't understand. The next was the need to be right. Once someone invested their time, their money, their reputation, their ego became invested in the belief that Keely was genuine, making them reluctant to admit doubt. The next was the need for power and exclusivity. Backing a world-changing invention promised not just wealth, but influence, legacy, and the thrill of being part of an elite circle. Keely's operation followed the classic confidence game formula. The approach. He targeted hopeful investors, ambitious scientists, and the scientifically curious. The build-up. He dazzled with jargon, patents, and stage demonstrations, and pseudoscientific language that sounded plausible. The convincer. He provided just enough spectacle and apparent results to keep belief alive, always promising that the final breakthrough was just around the corner. The hoorah. He created urgency and exclusivity. Get in now before the world catches on. The blow-off. When skepticism arose, Keely blamed misunderstandings, scientific conservatism, or the need for more funding. Never admitting fraud, always shifting the goalposts. For investors, the loss was more than financial. It was the embarrassment of being dazzled by jargon. and by spectacle, and the stubborn hope that the next demonstration might finally deliver the miracle. Many clung to the dream, convinced that the next breakthrough was just a prototype away. Even after exposure, many supporters rationalized their involvement, blaming bad luck, sabotage, or small-mindedness of critics, rather than admitting that they'd been fooled. Their own hope and egos made them complicit in maintaining the myth. People sometimes believe what they are told, but never doubt what they conclude. The complexity and mystery surrounding Keely's inventions discouraged critical scrutiny, and the illusion of scarcity and exclusivity made victims more determined to remain involved and less likely to question him openly. Keely's psychological success lay in his charisma, mastery of mystery and technical jargon, and his ability to exploit hope and ambition. His victims' susceptibility stemmed from greed and ambition, the lure of world-changing profit, and the fear of missing out on a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The complexity of Keely's inventions discouraged critical scrutiny and made investors defer to his apparent expertise. Then there was social proof. Seeing prominent figures and wealthy individuals invest lent further credibility, leading others to trust him without independent verification. Keely's refusal to reveal details or allow independent testing created an illusion of scarcity, making victims more determined to stay loyal and less likely to question him. Keely's story endures because he masterfully exploited the psychology of hope, the allure of secret knowledge, and the power of spectacle. By masking his intent, capturing attention with incongruity, and feeding hidden addictions, he kept the illusion alive for decades, until the smoke finally cleared. His tale is a timeless warning about how even the brightest minds can be blinded by ambition, wishful thinking, and the irresistible promise of the impossible. What if a single phone call could convince CEOs and bankers to hand over millions? No guns, no threats, just pure persuasion. Next time, step into the shadowy world of Gilbert Chickley, the mastermind behind the CEO scam, who fooled some of Europe's most powerful institutions with nothing but charm, nerve, and a phone. How did he impersonate top executives, orchestrate international wire transfers, and vanish with a fortune, leaving a trail of baffled victims and stunned investigators? Don't miss this jaw-dropping tale of audacity, technology, and the art of the social engineering con. Subscribe now so you never miss the next unbelievable twist in the world's greatest con.